today, something we talked about last week.
And the Komets, as we hinted last week, they might announce an affiliation today with the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim for the 1996-97 season. The Mighty Ducks will assign several NHL contracted players to Fort Wayne for the upcoming hockey season. Players assigned to Fort Wayne will be mutually agreed upon by the Komets and the Mighty Ducks. So does this mean anybody in Fort Wayne can get reduced tickets to Disneyland now?
Well, I hope so. I'm
thinking of this that I found out last night, that the Anaheim Mighty Ducks and Fort Wayne native Fred Knipscher are in contract negotiations now. One of a couple of offers that Fred has on the table, and with this affiliation, should Fred sign with the Ducks and be optioned, he'd come home.
David Franke, the general manager of the Fort Wayne Komets. Dave, welcome.
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
We're good, sir. Any idea who the goaltender might be that you get out of this deal we have today?
At this time, not really. The two goalies that were in Baltimore last year were Mike O'Neill and Mike Torchia. Our feelings right now, it's going to be one of those guys. It won't be both of them, but it'll probably be one of those.
Can't lose either way.
Pardon me?
Can't lose either way.
No, I think we would have no problem bringing Mike O'Neill back here, even though he had kind of a rough deal a couple years ago. We still have a lot of faith in him, and Mike Torchia is a proven player in this league. Excellent shootout goalie, so whoever it is would be fine with us.
Is this the domino that starts the rest of the preseason business transaction?
Well, we've been, as you guys know and all the fans know, we've been working on this deal, and my brother Michael specifically, pretty much for the last 12 to 15 months, and very intensively since April. In April, myself and Mike and Steve went out to Anaheim the week of the start of the first round of the playoffs, and spent a whole day and a half with the Duck people. It's been pretty intense since then, and I think now that we've got the deal finalized, signed, sealed, and delivered between the two franchises, that we will begin to see some free agent signings by the Komets. That may not start for another week to week and a half, but I think you'll definitely see the pace pick up.
Well, let's talk about one name that we keep hearing, Dave, Fred Knipscher, the Fort Wayne native. What's the latest on the possibility of him being here to play for you guys?
I think there's a good chance. If you look at the needs of the Ducks, their strengths are at goaltending and on the wings. Their weaknesses, if you want to call it a weakness, or let's say a need, or an area that they want to beef up, would be center ice and defense. Freddie is pretty much of a center iceman. He can play left wing equally as well. I know that Jack Ferreira, the general manager of the Ducks, has a high regard for Fred, and I think if Fred's agent and the Ducks can work out the numbers, I think there's a real good chance that Freddie could be signed by the Ducks, given an opportunity to make the club, and if he doesn't make the club, come to Fort Wayne and be one of the call-ups. But I really think there's a good chance that it could work.
Please convince them to do that. It will be hard to root for him as an Indianapolis Ice.
That deal is not going to happen. There was indication a week ago that he was getting ready to sign a deal with Chicago. That offer has been withdrawn, so that offer is no longer a possibility. So I think the only way he would end up in Indianapolis is if he signed as a free agent, and because of the agreement with Chicago, I don't think that's going to happen. They supply too many contracted players. But like I said, if the agent and the Duck people can get the numbers to work right, I think there's a real good chance that Freddie could become an Anaheim Duck and maybe eventually a Fort Wayne Komet.
Talking with David Franke, the general manager of the Fort Wayne Komets. Dave, on a different subject, what's the latest on the collective bargaining agreement?
The latest, I don't think there is a latest. We were led to believe maybe 3 weeks ago that an agreement was imminent, that the signing between us being the league and the Players Association was going to happen. doesn't look like it's going to happen. And the latest that we got a couple weeks ago is that the parties are farther apart than they were before. For what reasons, I'm not sure. My gut feeling is that there's probably some language involved with some of the major points that may not be agreeable to the head of the union. Where do we stand? As far as I know, there's nothing imminent. There's nothing on the horizon. I don't think that it's going to impede the start of the season, but I don't think it's going to get signed in the next week to 10 days.
David, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to bring us up to date. Congratulations on the new working agreement with the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. I think that's outstanding, and we will talk to you soon.
Well, guys, we're really appreciative of your support. We're excited here. As I told the press today, this agreement is as big to Michael and myself and Steve and the whole organization as when we bought the franchise in July. And besides the players, I think it may open up some marketing and promotional avenues to the Komets and the Ducks and the Disney Corporation that we never had a chance naturally before. And as the season develops, I think it could turn into some fun things for our fans and some real excitement.
Dave, before I let you go, we just had a caller call and ask what the situation is with Sean Evans. Are you making any efforts to bring him back as a free agent with a deal more to your liking?
Well, it looks like the Ducks are going to sign anywhere from 1 to 2 defensemen for us. It depends for us and for them. It depends on kind of what they do. It would be very hard for myself and Dave Farish to turn down our best defenseman on the team last year, and a guy that got 60 points. But we kind of have to see who Anaheim ends up signing. If it's a high-end offensive guy, then maybe Sean isn't a priority. But if it doesn't work out that way, then I think Sean is a priority. We don't have any rights to him because we didn't make a qualifying offer. So if he would sign with somebody else, we'd have to go in another direction. But definitely the door is still open for us to sign Sean. I think I'll have a better idea within the next week to 10 days if that is going to become a reality or not.
David Franke, General Manager of the Komets, will let you go and spend some time with your family. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave.
That is a piece of very good news today. That's a great organization to be involved with, talking about the Mighty Ducks and the Disney people. So I'm sure that the Frankes are ecstatic about this development.
And now I have to check the flight patterns between here and Los Angeles to see how quickly, if a player is sent here, we can expect to see him. It's not closed.
That's true.
So we would hope that it's a two-way thing. You know, they always seem to get to the big club real quick, but getting into the small club and the minors when you're sent down takes a little bit of time.
Fred Knipscher has signed with Chicago. The Blackhawks upped the ante. Anaheim decided not to match it.
Isn't it interesting how his dad tells me that and they refute it, and now all of a sudden it happens?
And it looks like Fred is going to be playing in Indianapolis for the dreaded invaders from the South.
Oh, won't that be tough to take? Be interesting when his first trip in as a hated invader from the South.
Yes, that's right.
Gotta have to cheer him for one shift. That's it.
That's it, huh?
That's all we can do.
Affiliation with Anaheim. Realistically, how many players are they looking at signing between now and start of the season?
Well, let's do the math. I mean, five or six guys coming back on 2 years. I think it's 6. Might be 5.
I'd have said 7.
Okay. Well, we'll go with your figure. Okay, the 3 signed yesterday. 10. 6 or 7 coming in here from Anaheim. 17.
There's not a whole room left.
Not much. And as David Franke has said before, they are not going to just bring in bodies to fill up training camp. They're going to bring in who they need. They may bring in a few more than the bare minimum, but they're not going to bring in the camps of 40 or 45 that maybe you saw in years gone by.
do you think Messier is gone?
Well, and just reading what I saw today, I have to think that they're probably thinking long and hard if they can deal his contract away. He is an expensive property, and he spent a lot of time on the shelf last year. This was not his fault. I mean, you get hurt, and he's getting older. You know, all those things add up against an athlete. So if they're able to shop him and successfully get something done for him, I wouldn't rule them moving him, but they're not going to move him for nothing. He still is a commodity that will bring return.
How about Jim?
I think we've seen the last of him. I would like to see him come back because I like him. He's a longtime friend, and I think he still has hockey left in him. But I kind of wonder if they're on the same wavelength anymore. So Pat Olenek signing a one-year contract with the Dallas Stars are premature. That Thomas still could end up with the winger services for this year, which would be great.
And we also got word from Komet General Manager David Franke this afternoon that Fred Knipscher has indeed signed with Chicago and will apparently be playing in Indianapolis for the Ice this year and not here in Fort Wayne.
Ouch.
The new coach, of course, of the San Jose Sharks of the National Hockey League and an old bus partner for a few years with great success, Al Sims. And Al, I know we haven't had a chance to talk till now, but I know everyone in this area, all the Komet folks, wish you nothing but the very best.
Well, thanks, Bob. We're real excited about the opportunity, to finally get to coach at the best level, and hopefully I can put the kind of success on the board I had in Fort Wayne, and certainly have great memories from the fans there and from the people I dealt with there, including yourself and the Frankies, and we just had a great time for 4 years there, 5 years, and now it's I'm getting my shot at this level, so we're real excited.
You know, I hark back many times to the day when the phone call came up to my office and Flossie Zimmerman said, "Bob, there's an Al Sims on the line, wants to talk to the general manager." And there you were. And at that point, Robbie Laird was out with a practice session at McMillan Park, and when he got back, I said, "Gee, Al Sims just called and is looking for work." And Robbie just popped his eyes and said, "Not the Al Sims." And it turned out to be just the Al Sims. And a lot of things have happened to you all good since then, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's true, Bob. A lot of people have to take credit for where I am today, and you're certainly one of them. Robbie gave me a start in coaching. Is one of them. The Frankies, David Welker, all the way down the line. The great fan support we had there in Fort Wayne was tremendous and still is. And, of course, that championship really vaulted me up into the NHL ranks, and then just learned the game up there for 3 years and got my chance. But certainly a lot of people along the line helped me out, and a lot of people in Fort Wayne certainly are happy to see this day.
Well, indeed, sure. Once you got the chance, you still had to take it, though, Guy, and you were the one that grabbed a hold of it in a hurry. You talk about 3 years to learn about the NHL. You had a lot of time as a player in the NHL. What did you have to learn in the coaching fraternity?
Well, I think the most important thing for me, Bob, was, at the minor league level, you're not dealing with that many egos, although you do deal with some. But the salaries up here really dictate how some players act and how they perform. And, I had never dealt with a guy making $1 million, a Paul Correa or a Teemu Solani or a Guy Bear who's making $1 million now. And they are different people and need to be handled a little differently. And I certainly learned that while I was here with Anaheim. Also learned about the importance of size at this level. Most of the big teams seem to have a lot of success, so you try to build your team with a lot of size up here. Obviously, speed's important too. The goaltending, you need that number one goaltender who can stop the puck. But it's not that much different from where I was. It just seems things are a lot faster, a lot quicker, and the guys are a lot bigger. But I think it was just mostly learning how to handle people at this level, and I feel very confident doing that now.
Well, I'm sure you should, of course, as you are well aware. Right after your departure from Anaheim, the Frankies and the Anaheim folks got together with at least a major working agreement. And I just wondered from your background there if you have any thoughts on maybe some of the people we might see in Fort Wayne this year from the Ducks.
Well, I think, definitely a goaltender probably, and they've got two good minor league goaltenders there, and Mike O'Neill and Mike Torcha, who did a great job in Kalamazoo for a couple of years. I think either one of those guys would be great for Fort Wayne. I think a kid like Denny Lambert may come your way, old San Diego Gull, who's been around the eye and in the NHL back and forth for a few years. I think you could see his face down there. They've got some young European players. One defenseman named Pavel Trinka, who looks like he's going to be a good prospect and should be a good player at that level. So I think there's a good mix of people you may see with some European kids, maybe a good goaltender and some forwards who can put the puck in the net. They've got I think Johan Davidson coming over this year, who's a really slick centerman, and he may need some minor league experience. So you may see him.
So there's a lot of excitement along the line, and of course, as this league each and every year seems to progress, the talent level gets higher, and it's, I guess, more and more important for National League teams to have somebody at this level who can work with their sort of intermediate people.
Well, exactly. I think, we got along good with Detroit and Winnipeg, especially when I was there, and, we had some great success with their goaltenders, and, the people that passed through when I was there with Bob Asenza and Beauregard and Pokey Reddick and, people like that have, Rick Tabarachi, who's in the NHL now, have gone on and done great things. So we had, extraordinary success with goalies, but I think some of the other people, too, that came down, the Corey Koshers, and people of that nature that came from Detroit and played exceptional for us. We seem to have a little bit of help from everywhere in the NHL and had good success with their people when they did send them to us. And I think a big part of it was, the city of Fort Wayne. The players were really idolized there and worshipped almost like NHL players, and the support they got was tremendous. One of the loudest buildings to play in the IHL, and went a long way to winning that championship.
Well, what's going to happen now? What kind of a situation have you been handed, Al, in terms of the kind of talent, the depth you have? What are you going to have to do to get yourself a championship contender?
Well, I think, Bob, we've already taken some steps in the right direction. Dean was not going to sit pat over the summer with a team that won 20 games last year. I think the advantage of taking a team over with only 20 wins is, it's obviously should be easy to improve on that and get 21 or 22. But my goals are set a lot higher than that. I think, ever since I've been a head coach, I've made the playoffs. And, that certainly is my goal this year, and, nothing less will be acceptable, really, by the coaching staff. We've made some changes, got L.I. Afraidy for Jeff Odgers. We got Todd Gill for Jamie Baker to improve our defense. If Afraidy can play, could certainly be one of the premier defensemen in our conference. We've also improved our toughness department with Todd Ewan from the Ducks. We managed to woo up to San Jose Tim Hunter from Vancouver. So we've made quite a few changes, along with, of course, the big name signing was Bernie Nichols as our number one center. And I played with Bernie in New Haven my last year, and and I've known Bernie for quite a while, and he's real excited about coming. So I think Kelly Rudy in goal is definitely going to solidify that position with Chris Terreri backing him up, and Wade Flaherty's also there. So I think, we're already a much better team than finished last season, and I think if the coaching staff changes the attitude and puts the right things in place here and the priorities in place, I think, you're going to see a vastly improved San Jose team that's going to be fighting for the playoffs at the end of the year.
And that's the interview that Bob Chase, WOWO Sports Director, did yesterday with former Comet coach Al Sims. Great to hear Al's voice, and he's going into big time looking for a Stanley Cup with San Jose.
Hey, gentlemen. Quick update. You said the Comets signed some players this week.
Mm-hmm.
Who are they?
Bezo, Murphy, and what was the Russian guy's name? Michael? Hang on, I got it here. I keep forgetting this name.
It was in my mind all day, but now it's slipped out.
Okay, what do you do with it? Anyway, I've got Russian Borodulin. Michael Borodulin.
What's he play?
He's a big center. Not as big as Murphy, but a big center.
Okay. Any idea who might be helping Al in San Jose assistant coaching-wise?
I have not seen that. And frankly, it being in San Jose, I haven't been paying much attention to it.
I think I've got a source for that information. Can you hear us tonight on the radio?
Sure, yeah.
I will see if I can get a couple of names for you during the break. I think I've got a source for that.
Yeah, I was wondering if he's bringing in people or if he was stuck with who was there or whatever.
Yeah, I'll do that during the break, and right after the break, I'll have that for you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your call.
Bye.
A quick check during the break as promised, and Al Sims at San Jose has only one assistant coach to date. That's Wayne Cashman out of Tampa Bay.
His old Boston Bruins teammate.
And so that's the one guy, at least according to the notes that I saw, that he has in place so far.
I heard Pokey Reddick was going to Grand Rapids like last week. I heard this.
Yeah.
I don't my hockey, but honestly, I'd never heard there was going to be a team in Grand Rapids.
The Grand Rapids Griffins.
What up with them? Is this like the traveling Minnesota Moose show or what?
No, this is a brand new expansion franchise which will be outfitted with an expansion draft within the next few days.
Wow. Is that the other player we know that Pokey's with them, or do they have any other names there?
They're probably going to wait a little while, and they're grabbing guys as they go, but they have a great new place to play in.
I think they're not going to play in the old Quonset hut up there.
No, that former. I just begin to shake my head every time I think of that place. No, they built a brand new facility between 12 and 13,000 along the lines of the Mark of the Quad Cities. If you've ever seen pictures of that, and it's a beautiful facility. That's where they're going to play.
Is there another team using the facility though?
Well, the CBA team's going to use it too.
Okay. Well, it seems kind of odd. The IHL has been going to big cities, and just us in Kalamazoo with the little guys left. Peoria got out, and now all of a sudden they're going down to Grand Rapids. It seems like, I wonder, are they starting to implode now or what?
Well, let's also remember Grand Rapids isn't that small a town, in a very good market size area. But the other thing is, the IMA have finally started to get some religion. and in all honesty, what they're trying to do is bring it back a little bit from its runaway status of a few years ago, where people can make money, because let's face it, not too many teams in this league make money last year.
Right.
You can count them all on one hand.
Yeah, it was like
one of them was not in this town.
It was like a new World Hockey League starting again. It looked like for a while there.
It was getting a little out of hand, and we all remember what happened in the World League.
Oh, yes, we do. Hey, one last question. I'll let you go real quick. Al Sims, coaching the Sharks. When he was here, he was kind of a disciplinarian, a quiet disciplinarian, but still he was in charge of the team. Everybody knew it. You think with somebody like Bernie Nichols, for crying out loud, who's kind of a head case if you know a little bit about him, you think he's going to be able to control these guys in the National Hockey League?
Bernie Nichols in the last few years apparently grew up a lot, because the word we got, at least I got from the Blackhawks situation, was that was one of their more stable players.
Really?
And Bernie Nichols is a good veteran who can put the puck in the net and bring some leadership to that team, and Al made a good move there.
You think Al's going to be able to control the NHL-type players, though?
Well, he'll control the ones that skate for him, or they won't have jobs.
That's true.
That part of Al Sims will never change.
That's very true. Hey, good show, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for your call. WOWO time, 5 minutes before 8 o'clock. WOWO time is 6:32. We're certainly pleased to have with us now the president of the Fort Wayne Komet Hockey Club, Michael Franke. And Michael, you told me yesterday that today was going to be a busy day. We had expected the schedule today. That didn't come, but a lot of other things happened.
Yes, well, we've got probably the biggest news is we finally have a PHPA agreement. The collective bargaining agreement was ratified today, and so that ends several months of negotiations, of wars, of ill feelings, and so it's behind us now, and now the fans don't have to hear about it either, and I think that's the best part of it, because I think we're all sick and tired of hearing of labor problems in professional sports.
Well, I see all kinds of things on here, Mike, per diem and other stuff, but it's the thing that strikes me the most is the taxation point, the cap. And I see $1.4 million for this year. You guys lobbied for a little lower than that, and then 1.3 and 1.2. And then I see some penalties coming in years 3 and 4, and then 4 and 5, and then no penalties and no taxation at all in year 6. What's that all about?
Well, I think what we're looking at there is once we get into after the first 3 years, there is, and of course it's not in the press release, nor would you expect it to be, But there are some provisions where this could be revisited, and we're going to look and see how all the teams are doing, and there always might be an opening there to make a change here or there, either in either favor, just to see how the whole thing is going after the first 3 years. And to make sure that, because, for instance, let's just say that all of a sudden everybody was making a bunch of money again, and maybe that some things would need to be revisited from the player's perspective. Or let's say that this thing was not working out well to the point where ownership was still having some problems. So it is going to leave some flexibility in there. But I'll tell you, once we get down to the point of $1.2 million. We made the trade today, with Messier, and you're going to see a lot of this kind of stuff. And the big thing right now is that teams are very, very fearful of going over that cap. And we're hoping that after a 3 or 4 year period of time that cool heads prevail and people stick to the rules, and we don't have to worry about the taxation process. And I think you're going to get to that. I think over the next 10 days or so, you're going to see a tremendous amount of what I would call unloading of contracts by teams. And if you notice, a lot of teams, and we're one of them, that have not picked up a lot of players here in the off season. We have a lot of roster spaces available, but there are a lot of teams in this league that are just full of players right now, and are full of dollar figures too, and they need to start alleviating some of that payroll. So it's a really a widespread scenario on the whole agreement. It's a partnership. It's a situation whereby there's some flexibility within it 3 or 4 years from now. I talked to a player this afternoon, and the player's comment to me is that, hey, this is probably some semblance of sanity. It got out of hand for a while. I was happy about it, said the player, because of the fact that the money had increased so dramatically. But he said, in the long run, I knew that something was going to have to happen, and it's happened. And so this is hopefully going to create some financial stability for everyone in the IHL.
Michael, as Dean mentioned, the $1.4 million salary cap in the first year of this agreement is higher than you guys wanted. How do you feel about that?
Well, throughout the whole process of this agreement, we're probably going to be $200,000 to $300,000 lower than the particular cap for that particular season. Anyways, I look at it and see a market that maybe has a 25 or 30% cost of living increase over a city the size of Fort Wayne, and hey, we're taking that all into consideration. So. If somebody's spending $1 million in on their players 3 years from now, and the cost of living difference between here and there might be 20%, well, maybe Fort Wayne that particular season will only spend maybe $900,000, and or somewhere around that figure. So we're taking that all into consideration, and quite frankly, in this first year, the 1.4 really doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot to us, because we've already made that decision that we're not going to be anywhere near it.
Michael, the penalty is very fierce for any teams that are over the cap. It's a 50% tax.
Right.
For people that are 0 to 25% over the salary cap. And the money, of course, goes into a rather interesting fund or series of funds. We'll talk about that in a moment. But
right.
I would think that is a high enough tax that it's got to scare everybody.
Well, it's going to scare everybody, because now what you're going to get to is you're going to have a general manager walk into his superior's office or the owner's office, and the owner's going to look at that individual and say, wait a minute, we paid X number of dollars in penalty because we spent too much on player salaries. I'm sorry, we don't allow that to happen here. And, in the past it's been for players, for related expenses to players, but now it's going to be a penalty. And I don't think there's one owner in this league that's going to put up for that for very much longer than this coming season. There are going to be a few teams that are going to be in that position just because of all the players that they've already signed. But I look at after this year, there's going to be very little tolerance of that kind of insanity as far as spending is concerned. And as I've said all along, and I didn't mean to be crass with this, and I wasn't trying to play up against the players, but we all have to remember that where are these individuals going to go if they don't play in the IHL? And there is nowhere for them to go. There are only so many jobs in Europe, and there's not another league in minor league hockey that pays what this league pays.
Michael, if there is any money, Dean, one more from me, if you will, if I can pursue this point. If there is any money that's collected because people are over the salary cap, can you tell us a little bit about what that money is going to be used for?
Well, it's going to be used in different areas, and a lot is going to depend upon how much money is there. My hope would be that there wouldn't be a whole heck of a lot of money there. It's going to be a sharing type deal. The PHPA will be involved in that, and then the member teams of the league will be involved in it. And obviously, anybody who is penalized will not be able to share any of those proceeds that might be available. But I really don't look at that as being a real major subject because of the fact that I don't think that those dollar figures in the long run beyond this year are going to be that great.
Now the trade.
Yes. We sent Mitch out to Utah, and Mitch will be playing with his brother Joby for Butch Goring. It was a situation whereby we felt, and Mitch felt, that it was in everyone's best interest to make this move. Mitch, let's face it, was not happy with the season he had here last year, and to be quite honest, we were not real happy with the season that he had, and we just thought that a change of venue for Mitch would be a great idea. He agreed to it 100%, and actually he's going to the organization that he really wanted to go and play for.
Was this move just to unload an unhappy player, or was this a move to create some room in your salary situation? What was the motive?
Well, I think it's a situation where I think anybody close to the team knows that I don't think Mitch was 100% happy with being in Fort Wayne last year. He had no problem with Fort Wayne, but it just didn't all work out the way he wanted it to. I think he was very frustrated from the standpoint that coming back from Europe, that the league had changed quite a bit, and I think it frustrated his game tremendously. I don't think he was expecting the increase in the level of play from before he went to Europe, and so it was just a number of things, and a lot of times people come back, and we want people to come back to try to relive a previous experience, and many times that's not possible to do. And the most important thing for Mitch Messier now is to go out and have a great 96-97 season. He's on the last year of his contract so that he's able to get something for the following year. He's going to be playing with his brother. He's going to be playing for Butch Goring, who he really wanted to play for. And from our perspective, that makes him happy, and he's out of the conference, so it's not a situation where he's going to come in and haunt us very often. And I fully expect Mitch to have a really good season for Utah.
And looking at the deal a little bit further, I noticed another thing where the league is being allowed to exceed, I guess, and you tell me if I'm wrong on this, but for one free agent player a year, you can go over the cap?
Yes. Yeah, you have like a one-player exemption, and basically that was put into existence for this first year, and for some of those people that have guys signed for not only this year and next year, it gives them a little bit of a leeway with the cap these first couple of years for, in my terms, some of the stupidity and insanity that they created for themselves over the last year or two in signing players to long-term, very lucrative deals for minor league hockey.
Michael, I know the schedule is not going to be officially released until next Tuesday, but is there a little bit you can tell us about what to expect?
Yes, we're just totally ecstatic about the schedule. The schedule, in our opinion, is going to be the finest schedule that we've had since we've owned the hockey club. 20 of our first 22 dates this year will be on Fridays, Saturdays, or holidays. The season will open up for us with a doubleheader at home on Friday night, October 4th, and Saturday, October the 5th at the Coliseum against Chicago on Friday and Quebec on Saturday. We've got our traditional Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve games. The Friday, Saturday situation and the holiday situation, I believe, is 27 of our 41 home dates. We have another, I believe, 7 Sunday games, so it's like 34 or 35 of our 41 dates are on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or holidays.
It sounds outstanding.
Yes, it is, and our out-of-town travel has been limited this year.
Where won't you go, Mike?
Where won't we go? I don't believe we go to Manitoba, which breaks my heart. We will not be going, believe it or not, because they're not in our conference this year, we will not be going to Houston. And I'm kind of glad of that because I think Houston's going to have a good team, and we ate them up last year, and it's not very often that you eat teams up 2 years in a row. So maybe that'll work out well. And believe it or not, and I know this disappoints my brother Dave, but I don't think we're going to Las Vegas this year either.
Oh.
And you'll see some Western teams in here. Instead of just coming in for one game, you might see some teams in here 2 or 3 times this year because, again, the schedule maker has finally woke up and realized that it is cheaper for the Western teams to fly into the Midwest and play more games than it is for them to fly all over to separate venues and to play one-game stops and get on a plane and go somewhere else. So I believe Phoenix, for instance, comes in here 3 times this year.
Michael, will you see every team in the league at least once or twice?
Yes. We will see every team in the league at least once. The interdivisional play for us will be outstanding, with Indianapolis especially. We will play them like 10 or 11 times this year. We will play Michigan 9 or 10 times. The K-Wings will be playing all of our divisional foes a lot. And the smartest thing that they did this year is we will be playing last year, even though they were only 3 and 4 hours down the road, we played Chicago and Milwaukee 1-1, and this year we will be playing them a lot more than we played them last year.
Michael Bronke, we certainly appreciate you taking the time to fill us in. A very busy day for the Komets and for the International Hockey League, and we will talk to you soon.
Okay, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks a lot.
And good news, the Komets, with a trade with the Quebec Raphaels, the former Atlanta Knights, have returned Lee Davidson to Fort Wayne for the 1996-97 season, picked up in a trade for future considerations. Lee is now 28, skated with the Turner Cup champs in 93, also to either side of that for 3 seasons. Total of 51 goals and 123 points in 156 games with the Komets. Komet General Manager David Kroenke said, great to have him back. Quality player, is very happy to be a Komet again. And the last 3 years, or should we say 2 years, since he left Fort Wayne after 93-94, he was with Chicago and then split time last year with Chicago and Atlanta, where he notched his best season with 31 goals and 81 points. So Lee Harley Davidson is a Komet again. Another interesting development, Art, that the Komets are going to play an American Hockey League team in an exhibition game.
I found this really intriguing also.
September 30th at the Coliseum. Game start at 7 o'clock. They will play the new Lexington Thoroughbreds, the new primary farm team of the San Jose Sharks of the National Hockey League, the same ones coached by Al Sims. Be a lot of fun for Komet fans, said Michael Kroenke. We'll get a chance to see a brand new team from a different league. We don't believe the Komets have ever played a team from the American League before. K's now with 3 exhibition games, 3 at home, and 3 on the road. I wonder if this will be added to Chasey's list. I would imagine it would.
Probably so.
So, another exhibition game. So there will be now a total of 6. And for those of you who do not know what they are, it'll be Friday, September 20th against Indianapolis at 7:30 here at the Coliseum. Saturday versus the Michigan K-Wings, and on the 28th, or Saturday the 28th, and then the following game was the 30th with Lexington, and the K's will play 3 on the road as well. So that's kind of good news. Have Harley back. I always liked him. One of my favorites. Now,
great to have Harley Davidson back. He's a crowd favorite, and Dean lamented on that, and I think the fans all enjoy what the Pronkies did getting him back. I had a question on Konstantin Shafronov. Someone mentioned that there was a possibility he might come back. What is, that there's his contract could be split. What's going on that?
Well, has he signed with St. Louis, Art? I think he has, hasn't he? That was the deal. Well, the thing was, if he has, and I believe he has, I may be wrong on this, but if that were the case, they were trying to work out some kind of thing. Apparently, Dave Farish and Mike Keenan are friends.
Right, I realize that.
And the deal could be worked out that if Schaffer signed with St. Louis, that he might end up here as a separate deal.
Right. If he doesn't play up with them,
that this would be the farm out operation.
Right. That would be fantastic because with his centerman coming over here, that Michael Perdulin, that's an automatic click.
Yep.
The other question I had, I saw in the paper, I always look through the trades and transactions, and I noticed that Anaheim, Mighty Ducks, signed Joe Day. Is that the same Joe Day from Detroit? If it is, what are the chances he might be here?
If it is, very good.
I only know
I can't think of too many Joe Days that are playing hockey.
Yeah.
Would you would think that might be the guy, and if that is the case, that might be a guy that ends up here.
Because it said center Joe Day, 1-year contract with Anaheim, and I always enjoyed watching him. Too bad he played for Detroit. And if he comes down here, the only thing I'm looking at is we already got 4 centers now. He would be a 5th one. Well, isn't Leo center? Davidson?
I've seen him play the right wing as well.
Okay, because I know we got Willett, Davidson, that Brodulin's a center, and Murphy plays mostly center.
Well, there's another guy that can also swift to the wing.
Yeah. Well, I know
so
you got a couple people
they'll probably get that done somehow.
But, I just wanted to ask on that Joe Day because I always liked his play. Unfortunately, like I said, he played for the Vipers.
If it's the same guy, and I have to think that he probably is, he very well could end up here.
Right, because he's right on the borderline of making an NHL team, but not quite there. He's been flying around in the IHL for a couple of years.
Well, maybe he flies here. Who knows?
John,
Great.
We appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. We're joined now by Komets General Manager David Franke. David, always a pleasure to speak with you.
This is becoming a regular event, isn't it?
I think you are now the 3rd co-host.
One question,
your job, not mine.
Dave, one question that I had was one that came up in our previous conversation. I would assume that everybody in the league has some teams they do not see at home and some places they don't go. Is that correct?
That is correct. I think we've got 4 or 5. Some teams have 2 or 3. One thing people have to remember is the fact that there are at least 7 of our buildings in our league that are occupied by an NBA franchise. And the NBA team gets the best dates. We have to work around the NBA schedule. If you notice, the NBA schedule comes out. After that comes out the IHL schedule. The Vipers lost 3 weekend dates. The last week when the schedule was being put together, they lost 3 weekend dates to concerts, and those 3 weekend dates went to Tuesday night games. So.
And Dave, I got a question for you. Is Harley signed?
Yes, we acquired Lee Davidson from Quebec, and he is on the 2nd year of a 3-year contract that he originally signed with Chicago at the start of last season. And so he is under contract for this coming season and next season also. And the expansion draft.
The expansion
draft will not be held this year. Grand Rapids will participate in the expansion draft in 1997.
Dave, does that make any sense?
Yes and no. Yes, from the standpoint that it's too late in the summer to hold an expansion draft.
I'll buy that, yeah.
There was not going to be a draft unless we had a CBA. And if you hold a draft right now, the number of players eligible for the draft has dwindled by probably at least 60%, maybe 70%. Another good thing for Grand Rapids is they've signed 7 or 8 players already. They can then next summer, if they've had mistakes or whatever, they've had a season under their belt this current season, and next season maybe this expansion draft for them will mean even more than it would have if they would have had it in July when it's normally held.
We had a question from a caller right before the break that you may have heard as to whether you were happy with season ticket sales to date. Would you care to comment?
Yes, we are. We're very happy. Again, I don't have all the exact figures like Michael does because that's more of his department, but we are very happy with them. We were a little nervous that when we had to take tickets up at the end of last season, when we put the tickets on sale like in May or early June, we thought there might be a little bit of a backlash, but to be quite honest with you, and hard season tickets I think were, and Michael updated me, we're up around 3,200 to 3,300 when I talked to him today, but he couldn't give me a specific amount. But my 3,000 was actually a couple hundred short. So really, the people that we lost, we picked up new season ticket holders. So we're very happy. And if we get close to the 3,800 season tickets, that's fine because we do have a lot of weekend games this year where there's going to be kids home from school over the holidays and whatever, and that still affords the tickets to be sold at the window and not everything to be occupied by a season ticket holder. About the American League game. Are you excited?
I think it'd be interesting.
It definitely will.
And because you'll see just what the American League has become, which is the young prospects.
Well, Jim Wiley, the coach of the Lexington team, was the former coach at Kansas City, so he's very familiar with the IHL. This will be their only exhibition game. They were supposed to have a game the night before against Cincinnati, but that fell through. So they will actually come into town on Sunday night, have their skate Monday morning at the Coliseum, and then we'll play the game Monday night. But he's excited about it. He told me on the phone today that his team that comes into the building Monday night, the 30th of September, that will pretty much be his team for the rest of the season. And we should see Wade Flaherty in nets, and we all know how good Wade Flaherty is. So it'll be interesting for the fans to see the caliber of play in the American League, and it's also, I believe, the first time in the 45-year history of the Komets that the Komets have actually played an American Hockey League team. So this should be real interesting. I know it's on a tough night on a Monday, but I hope there's enough curiosity that people will come out and watch this team play.
I'm sure they will. It's going to be great to see the comparison between the leagues. Dave, thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Almost receiving most of the phone calls basically all over the country. They were involved in an auto accident early this morning, and his brother and he have been in the hospital, and Batters was, I guess, reported dead at the scene, and broken arm for Mitch. I don't know about his brother, but Mitch has we understand, skull fracture, and not really sure how bad it is, but it looks like the way they say that he's going to recover from it, but very serious anyway.
Where did it happen?
Somewhere around Regina, I believe, Saskatchewan. Mitch has got a hockey school up there, and I don't know what happened, the whole particulars of it. My friend Doug Wickenheiser, he's already contacted me today. He's heard about it down in St. Louis, and so it's. I didn't really want to be the one to call. I wanted Mike or Dave to do it. They've been busier than in a one-arm paper hanger all day today. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. Just cannot believe this happened.
So, what is his overall condition, Randy? From what you're able to know,
from what I understand, he's going to recover. It's just like you say, we understand serious condition, but the way he's going to pull through it, but it's going to take a little while.
Talking about Mitch Messier.
Yeah, I don't know about his brother Joby, but When I talked to Wick, he really was hearing about the same thing I'm telling you.
Okay.
So until Mike or Dave can call in, I hope they can, but maybe a little more information. I just want to let the fans know out there, he's your well light here in town, and just a shame that something like this had to happen again in the hockey scene.
Randy, we appreciate your call. We've got another call on the line that may be able to shed some light on this as well, so we thank you. Our friend Blake Sebring from the Fort Wayne News-Sentinel with us as well. Blake, can you shed any light on the situation?
Yeah, I think I can. First off, you had a caller just a second ago about Joe Day. He's ticketed to go to Baltimore.
Okay.
This is not a good thing. There were 6 people in a pickup truck. They were driving the wrong way down the Trans-Canadian Highway at 3:30 a.m. The truck slid off the road, tried to get back on, and flipped into a ditch. Jeff Batters and another woman, an 18-year-old woman, were killed. They were crushed by the truck. Mitch and his brother both have head injuries. They are in critical but stable condition. Mitch also has a broken arm. There were 6 people involved. There were 2 people that had minor injuries and were in shock, and the police were working with them to try to get some more details. They were working at a hockey camp in Banff, Alberta. This happened in Canmore, Alberta. And it was a 79 black pickup truck. I'm trying to think what else I got here for you.
Blake, was there alcohol involved?
No one is saying.
Well, driving down the wrong way down a road at 3 a.m., it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
No, it does not look good. Basically that fills in a little bit. Mitch just had his birthday Wednesday night. I mean, he's 31, and Jeff Batters was 25, and the woman who was killed was 18, and Joby Messier is 26, and they're in Calgary Foothills Hospital. And it's just not a good day. You got to wonder when this stuff's going to end for the Komets.
Well, you do.
It's been a rough year that way.
Yeah, it did.
Well, and even though he is no longer with the club, he was such an intrinsic part of it for some very, very important years and very, very, very important moments.
Well, like David Franke says, once a Komet, always a Komet, and they parted under the best of terms with Mitch Messier. I mean, there were some reports during the year that he and Coach Barish didn't get along. They got those all patched up. But Mitch wanted to play with Joby, and that's why this trade happened.
And this trade's only a week old, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just been, yeah.
Blake, you say this accident happened early this morning.
3:30 a.m. They were working at a hockey camp at Mitch's father's hockey camp in Banff.
When did the information filter down to you?
I just heard about it this evening and was trying to track some stuff down. I've had people calling me pretty much all day trying to find out what happened, and there wasn't a whole lot of information available.
Well, we sure appreciate your getting what you have to us, because obviously we have a lot of people listening who are interested. It is a very tragic story.
It's a mess. It's just, with Galen and then Grant Richardson last year, you just wonder when this kind of stuff's going to end. And in those 2 incidents, those were just freak accidents, and you just got to wonder.
Well, I'm sure you'll have more with Sports Talk Saturday tomorrow, and you just don't want to talk about something like this, but I'm sure you'll have more tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Blake.
Okay. Thanks, Blake.
Is that Mitch Messier, the veteran traded by the Komets just last week after years of play here and other IHL spots, in critical but stable condition tonight in a hospital in the Calgary, Alberta area. Mitch, 2 days after he celebrated his 31st birthday, sustained head injuries and a broken arm early this morning when a pickup truck he was riding in left the highway and flipped over. 2 people died in the accident, one of them being 25-year-old Jeff Batters, who had played last year in Peoria and in the IHL for a number of years. Very, very sad story, and we wish Mitch the best. His brother Joby also injured in this accident, and again, Jeff Batters killed in this accident, as well as another female who was riding in the pickup truck at the time. Very, very sad story, Art.
Well, a situation like now with the negotiations looking for players and such, you've got 9 guys under contract. You're hoping for 5 to 7 from Anaheim.
Right.
And I know you want to keep some spots open for training camp, which starts in 2 weeks.
Exactly. I would say that within the next week prior to training camp, you could see us sign a couple more guys ourselves. And that had put us up to 11 of our players. And right now I'm looking at 5 to 6 pros total. And that had put us in the, say, 16 range, which is going to leave 4 or 5 spots open for training camp. And that's the way we want to see it this year. there are a tremendous number of players that are available right now. Just to name off a few names of players that have not signed contracts or that have signed 25-game tryout situations. We've found out that guys like Tommy Draper, who is an outstanding goalie at this level, has signed a 25-game tryout. Guys that
who did he sign with, Michael?
I believe with the Ice Dogs.
Okay.
And guys like Robin Bow, Kevin McDonald.
Did Kevin sign somewhere?
No, they have not signed.
Oh,
and
that's interesting.
There are a load of players that have not signed. Gary Suchuk, a big-time minor league player with NHL capabilities, is still setting out there. I could give you a list of 30, 40 names of very major players that are still available, and training camp for most NHL teams begins this weekend. So that's why we want to leave the availability open for training camp and for these last-minute signings.
All right, these guys are available. Why not just go out and get them?
Well, I think we're looking at some of them, just as a lot of the other teams in the league are looking. But everybody is in a situation right now where okay, well, it's this week. Where are we going to be next week? And maybe 90% of the guys will be available yet next week, and maybe some even more guys who are still trying to demand one-way contracts from NHL teams will filter down even further. And so you don't know what could be available a week from now. So it's going to be exciting, and I think the teams that have the roster availability, the maneuvering space, are going to be the teams that are really benefiting from the current economic situation.
Well, part of that, too, isn't the longer you wait, the lower the salaries come down?
Pretty much so, exactly. The more hungry the player, I believe, becomes, and there needs to be a job. The player needs a job, and as I've said all along, there's nowhere in minor league hockey where you're going to make a better living than you do in the International Hockey League.
But isn't it really I know it's difficult for the fans to wait, and isn't it difficult for the Komets to sit back and just bide your time? I mean, it's got to be killing Coach Farish. I mean, he probably wants his team like right now.
I think it bothers. I'm sure it bothers some of the fans, and but this is the new way. This is the way that it happens. If you called the 4 or 5 teams in the league that have 16, 17 guys signed right now, I will guarantee you that to a team, they will all wish that they had 4 or 5 less guys signed at this particular point in time. It's the smart way to go. You cannot panic anymore at this game, because when you panic, that's when you end up spending money needlessly.
I'll tell you, there's a couple teams that I know of out there that haven't even started playing yet, and they're already offering guys around in trades, trying to dump contracts.
Well, exactly, and they're trying to loosen up the purse strings a little bit and create a little more money to sign some other players. But the only problem with that is generally if somebody picks somebody up, they're going to want to return another player to that team. So it makes it very, very difficult to do a lot of trading. We've seen some. Our situation where we were able to pick up Lee Davidson was a classic example of that. And we got something that we wanted badly, and Quebec was able to move someone that they needed to move, and for many, many different reasons.
Michael, it looks more and more like Colin Chin will not be playing for the Komets this year if he plays at all. This is kind of a thinking ahead question, but what are you guys going to do for a captain?
Well, I think obviously that's going to fall into the coach's lap and the general manager's lap, and
way to pass the buck.
Yeah, that's right. I don't want to be responsible. No, I think that is going to be something that we're going to be looking for if the Colin Chin situation remains the way it has through the summer, where we're looking for a person who exemplifies the credentials needed to be a captain, and I think that there are a couple of guys on the team right now that could very easily do that. And who knows, here in the next week or so,
there might be another guy or two that that we're able to bring in that would foot the bill or fit the bill for that situation.
Can't you just give us a hint on who some of those guys are?
Okay, Eddie Long's coming back.
Dang,
and Len Thornson.
I could take both of those guys.
No, I can't, just because of the fact that it wouldn't be fair. You know, we're talking Dave and Derek are on the phone constantly, all day long, talking to player agents, to players, to teams, player agents switching, or players switching agents from day to day because they're not able to get a deal and they move to another agent. And it's just wild right now. I mean, I don't want to see our long distance bill at the end of the month because I'm sure it'll be just crazy. But that's what's going on right now, and I think it's very, very exciting. And I really, really believe that this is going to create a much hungrier style of play in the International Hockey League this year.
It's a tough deal. I mean, a lot of these veterans, you know, a lot of these teams figure they can get a 23-year-old for half the money to do the same job as some of the veterans did last year. And that's smart business. It's very, very brutal right now. I think that's the kind of position Colin Chin is in, and Andrew McBain, you know, some of those guys. I mean, that's a brutal situation to be in. And it's very difficult for those guys. But I mean, you can understand where they, you know, they've probably saying, I've been a veteran for 10 years. I deserve some of this money. And the teams are going, yeah, but we've got a salary cap now. You know, we're trying to stay in business. We can't afford to pay that kind of money. I know, Robin Bawa, he wanted to come back here. He wanted like $80,000.
Not going to happen.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, and if Robin can get it somewhere else, hey, that's fantastic. More power to him. But it's just a difficult situation right now.
Well, and you got to wonder, and these guys aren't alone in this, but there are a lot of people, and not in just in sports, but in a lot of businesses where you get guys who figure that they have time coming because they have put in time in. But I'm one of these people who believes that you pay for what these guys can do for you now because that's what you're paying for, and that is now. And can they put in the effort, and can they put in the quality that they did as younger players? And maybe the answer a lot of times is not. And is past service a reason for giving more money?
Well, let's put it this way, Dean. You and I both know last year, I mean, I remarked about this several times in my column and on this show. I got tired of seeing veterans in this league coast. It was a no-hitting league last year. And there was, I mean, scouts would come in all the time and complain about it. They wanted to see the young kids get hit, see how they held up, and how they would react. And that didn't happen consistently night in and night out. And it hasn't happened consistently in this league for 2 or 3 years. And that's one of the reasons, one of the few reasons, but it's one of the reasons the NHL is so upset with the IHL. They felt like there were veterans in this league who were coasting every night because they could, and they were making darn good money. And they should have been putting out a better effort for that kind of money. And they were right. There were a lot of veterans who were coasting.
Well, in a perfect world, that would happen, but we don't live in that world.
That's right.
So,
and I think that's part of this. I'm not saying that the guys I mentioned earlier are ones that coast, and everybody knows Colin Chin never coasts. But there were veterans around this league that were in that situation, and I think that's why those guys are looking for tryout contracts now, because the owners want these guys to be hungry.
Colin Chin didn't coast through the season.
I don't think he did. Anybody that knows Colin, I mean, I didn't think he coasted. I thought he fought his way back from those injuries and got back as quick as he could. I really did. I mean, any normal player would have sat out the rest of the year for both years. I mean, he should have never had a chance to come back the year before last and then come back and play in the playoffs.
But wasn't it just remarkable how in the playoffs all of a sudden he's doing something when it's time for a contract?
I think if you recall correctly, he was put on the big line with Rob Murphy and Konstantin Shafranov with about 10 games left to go in the season, and they picked it up at that time, and they were the best line on the team again. A lot of it depends. A lot of times it depends a lot on who you play with. If you're on a checking line and you do a good job checking, it doesn't show up in the box score that much.
Well, I just totally disagree. I think we had a lot of players that did play hurt out there and did perform, and I just don't think Colin Shinn's done much but bring a lot of people down lately.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else?
No, let's just hope he's not back.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Debbie. Okay.
Not a Colin Shinn fan.
No, that's fine.
One of my big bugaboos during the season is my little key phrase, congeniality in the crease. That's, you notice NHL, all NHL teams, the more rugged IHL teams, when the goalie covers up the puck and the guy comes down and knows him.
Oh, yeah.
In the NHL, you count 1, 2, and then pick yourself up off the ice.
Yeah, Chris Chelios' favorite move.
And the Komets of the last couple of years have always been, I call it congeniality in the crease. They haven't seemed to, let anybody know that, don't do that to our goaltender.
Well,
I'm wondering if, I saw a little bit of it with Sean Cronin.
And Guy does a pretty good job at that, too.
Right, but that's kind of a team effort. Everybody's got to do that.
You just hit the nail on the head. Where are the forwards for this?
Yeah,
that's part of their job, too.
One to get the shot in.
Right. I mean, that's part of their job, too, is helping out. I mean, what I saw a lot of times was the defensemen were back there battling for their lives, and the forwards, a lot of times, in the past, I'm not sure necessarily last year. Last year they were pretty decent about getting back, but the year before that, they were still at the other blue line.
Right.
That was the problem there. I mean, they've got 3 guys signed right now, Guy Dupuis, Sean Cronin, Chris Talk. Those guys clear the front of the net pretty well.
Talk got signed?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
He's been signed. And I know that I can talk about this. I've heard about this from different sources. They are negotiating with Kevin McDonald, too.
I heard that earlier when the Frankie boys were on, they mentioned that he was still floating around trying to get a good contract with someone, and I figured he was probably floating around. I always liked him, and he's...
Well, my question would be, and I hope this can be answered, is Kevin's legs, his wheels were not what they used to be when he was here the last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to wonder, I mean, because you've got Guy and you've got Sean and you've got Chris.
Right.
I mean, you got those kind of guys filled. I think Kevin would be the perfect guy to bring in for leadership in the locker room, and for a guy to fill in when Sean needs to sit out a couple games because of his knees.
That's what I was thinking. He'd be a perfect captain, but in order to be a captain, you want him on the ice.
That's right.
All the time, and can he log that time is the question.
Well, you also have the situation that Cronin can't either.
Right.
No.
Well, Cronin can't be the captain because he's an assistant coach.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do for a captain right now. I really don't. I went to lunch with Coach Ferris yesterday, and I kind of asked. He just said, I don't know right now.
I like McBain, but he must be asking a little bit too much money.
No, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think, like I said before, these veterans, and I think Andrews specifically is caught in this, is they're looking for younger kids who can do the same job maybe for half the money. And I'm not saying Andrew's asking for tremendous amounts of money either.
But you got to look at the leadership quality. You're not going to get that out of a kid. That's going to have to be a veteran.
Yeah, it is.
If you're going to spend the money for a captain.
I like the base they have right now. The 9 guys they have signed, I really like the base of that leadership.
Who would be a bad captain? Number 2.
Yeah, Guy would be a decent captain. I see Guy as a perfect assistant captain.
Mm-hmm.
I think Guy, and this is not a knock on Guy at all, but Guy's not the most vocal guy in the locker room, and you need your captain to be a guy who can go up and grab somebody by the throat.
Yeah, but he's capable of that.
He is, but he doesn't do it that much, and you need somebody who does it. I think he'd be a great assistant captain.
Yeah. My question was, I was just looking over my list of players. I got 9 already, not counting Chris Talk. I know what it is. Shapranov's on a possible one-way.
He's going to go to Baltimore, it looks like right now.
Does it?
Yeah. Although that may not be done too. You never know.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen.
Things change.
So Chris is in, and I wouldn't mind seeing McDonald back here. But like I said, that's going to get to be a tough one for captain.
Sure.
You're going to have to do some soul searching. And
see, I kind of wonder if Lee Davidson couldn't be the captain if you asked him.
I thought of that.
I mean, Lee doesn't pull many punches in the locker room, and if he doesn't like something you said, he'll be right in your face to say it. And,
don't we know that?
Yeah, I mean, you don't ever say anything behind Lee's back because he hears it and he's right there, and I really respect that.
Well, that's the kind of stand-up type of guy you need in there.
Your roster today, Kevin McDonald, defenseman, who has been here before, member of the 1992-93 Turner Cup championship team, his third go-round here, 4 seasons with Phoenix, last 2 in Chicago. And Kevin returns here last season, 2 goals, 8 points in 75 games, 274 penalty minutes. You do not bring Kevin McDonald here for offense. You bring him here for leadership, and you bring him here because he's tough. That's right. It's always good to have some tough guys on the ice. By the way, David Franke, the Komet general manager, will join us at 6:30 to discuss Kevin McDonald's acquisition and the acquisition of the other players as well. Okay, we'll say about those other players as well. The veteran winger Todd Harkins will play his first in Fort Wayne and his 5th in the IHL, 3 seasons in Salt Lake. They've skated with Chicago and Houston during the 94-95 season, and last year played at Carolina in the American League, where he scored 27 goals, had 55 points in 69 games, had 172 minutes in penalties. Word I get is Todd Harkins is another guy who does not back down from any kind of confrontation, and maybe this is what the Komets are going after, and it looks like the third guy also fits that mode. 25-game tryout with winger Robin Bouchard. He skated in 73 games with Flint last year in the Colonial League. Led the team in goals and points with 56 goals and 107 points. That was 4th highest in the Colonial League. Took the most shots of anyone in the league with 372. Oh, we need somebody like that. Yeah. And 2nd highest on the team in penalty minutes with 247. So we are bringing in, through these 3 guys, about 700 minutes in penalties from last year. Give Andy Beasley some help here. And Andy, talked to Andy a little bit at practice today because I went out there just to see what the guys were doing out of McMillan Park. And time permits, I'll get to Andy's comment about the makeup of this team later on, either tonight or in the week. But it was very interesting. He says, and paraphrasing now, it's about time we stopped worrying about bringing guys back from the Turner Cup team and started bringing guys back who can help us out now. Interesting. Shoot from the hip, but very, very accurate. That's the Komet news today, and we expect a few more tomorrow. Also, some related Komet news. Ian Boyce has signed with the Kansas City Blades, 1-year deal. Boise very happy about it. Kind of hoped, he told me today, that he could get it out here. He was working out with the guys as well out at McMillan, but it didn't work out, so he is going to Kansas City for this year. Does not rule out a return to the Komets in the future. And also talked to a couple of now former Komets who may be in the market for 25-game tryouts either here or in Grand Rapids, and that would be Grant Richardson and Kelly Hurd. And I watched Grant Richardson skate, and I asked him, any pain? He says, I don't have any pain. And that's good. That's great news. And he looks very good out there, and we'll see what happens. Richie told me today that if anything cracks with the Komets, it probably will be tonight or early tomorrow. And the same thing with Kelly Hurd when I talked to him today at practice as well at McMillan Park. And quite a few of the boys were out there, and a few more will be joining them, as we say, later on.